So you blew up your motor. Cylinder 5, connecting rod, bearing failure. Now you gotta replace the motor. You don't know how to rebuild it, but what swaps in? In this video, we're gonna show you the ultimate swap guide to how to swap another 4.5 cylinder motor into your Chevy Colorado, Canyon, or H3. I'm pretty sure the 6-cylinder is also in the same category, in that the 2007 is kind of the catalyst to make this all happen. So let's get into it. This is my 2004 Chevy Colorado. This originally came with a 3.5 liter inline 5-cylinder engine, and about 10 years ago I swapped it with a 3.7 liter. Now this motor is actually out of this truck and it's going to my buddy's H3T. So even though the motor that came out of this truck is a 3.7 liter, it's actually from 2008. And that causes a problem because the motor that was in my truck won't directly swap into the H3T. So let's talk through this. The blocks are the same. The heads are even the same. The valve cover's the same. The cams, the crankshaft, the pistons, connecting rods, all of it's the same between the 3.7 motor that I took out of my truck and the one that came out of the H3. So why is it not going to swap over? The answer is actually really simple, and it's kind of amazing that it took us quite a while to figure this out. So here's the motor that came out of my buddy's H3. It's a 2008. This is also a 2008 motor, but I've made one little modification. That right there. Now hang on, it's not that simple. It's not as simple as just adding a cam sensor. It's actually a little bit more involved in that, but the motors do swap in. They are identical in almost every way except for the cam sensor being present in the 2007 and down motors, and the 08 newer motors only had the exhaust side cam sensor, just one. The other modification you need to make is inside the valve cover. The 2004 to 2007 exhaust cam Reluctor had two different part numbers for the different head designs, but they were all 5X Reluctors. The 2008 to 12 had a 4X exhaust cam Reluctor and a 1X intake cam Reluctor. There was only one part number for that era of motors. I want to keep this swap as simple as possible for you guys, but this is kind of the end-all be-all how-to swap a 4, 5, or 6-cylinder motor into a older or newer vehicle. I don't know why you'd put these smaller, 2.8 and 3.5 motors into a vehicle that had a 3.7 in it, but you can do it, and basically I'll show you how. If you've got an 08, 9, 10, 11, 12, you can swap in an 08 through 12 motor into your truck, no questions asked, oil pan to valve cover, drop it in, done. No problems whatsoever. The issue comes when you're taking your 3.5 or 2.8 or even the older, 02 to 07 4.2s, and you're trying to swap in a newer 08 plus motor back into your older truck. You need to track down the 07 cam Reluctor and mimic the cam sensor hole in the head and the new motor that you put in, because that motor is going to be looking for, the computer is going to be looking for both cam sensors. So essentially what I'm going to do on this 08 Hummer is take the old head and clean that out really good and put it on my old block. What that'll allow me to do is keep the 08 Reluctor and the absent cam sensor, and won't require me to drill or machine any holes in the block like the 07 has. I'll keep the 07 head, put it on the old block, and get that all cleaned up, and I'll sell that another day. So something I'm kind of thinking about, I'm not really set on it, but I want to see what you guys think in the comments below. should I start a swap service for these engines? I know Jasper's got one. Jasper's kind of just the pull-out king. They just pull the motor out, paint it, clean it, whatever, and send it on its way. I've got buddies in the community that have bought 5, 6, 7 Jasper motors, and they've all been roasted the second they get them running or shortly thereafter. So I'm hoping that because I've got such a knowledge on these motors, and I know what it takes to rebuild them, and I know what components it takes to make them fit the various years of truck, I'm hoping that I can maybe work out some deal every once in a while with you guys if you want to rebuild your motor, to send me yours and I'll either R&R it, or what I can do is swap it out for one that I've built here. So essentially I'm rebuilding my old motor and putting it in the H3. The '08 H3 motor is going to be coming out and being fully rebuilt. I'm fixing the crank, fixing the connecting rod and all that fun stuff, cleaning it all up, adding all of the proper oiling components that we talked about in my last video, and doing all the upgrades to it in the meantime, and then basically shipping it out. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think about the swap service? What do you think about the opportunity that I might have to start rebuilding these motors for you guys and keep you guys in your trucks running longer? With that, I'm gonna get going on this motor here and get this thing rebuilt and put back together so I can put it back in the H3 this week and get it back to my buddy Derek. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.